Hello viewers, you are watching Dyson Sphere Program, where here you can find everything DSP related, including information, news, build guides, strategy, and theory crafting. Youthcat released the next early access patch to Dyson Sphere Program with the following additions. The first change is that Mark I storage boxes can be placed on top of a splitter. Basically, items going into the splitter will be routed into the box above and vice versa. You can stack boxes on top of each other to expand the storage space, and logistics distributors can be placed on top of those boxes as well. Unfortunately, you cannot place a splitter on top of a box. I'm guessing the intention here is an easier alternative to loading and unloading boxes to conveyor belts without using sorters. However, one glaring drawback is that the splitter output doesn't pile. As an input though, there might be a slight edge for the splitter box combo because they do not need to be configured to input a specific item. I should also add in here that belts can now run over storage boxes. I was not aware that you could not do that, but now that I am aware, I'll be thinking of ways of putting that mechanic to use. In Planetary View, we can see the next change that's done to the ore information. On the right side of Viens information, there is now a drop down with 3 ways to view resource amounts. The first is planet reserves, which shows total amount of the resources on a planet. Mining planned, which counts all the ore that is currently tapped and running. And not planned yet, which is basically the opposite, all the ore that's not tapped. Resource rates, that is resource that's expressed in a per minute basis. Also, by clicking on a system star, you can also view under the same options for that entire system. Pretty excited about this one. For example, I can go to a planet to mine out, view it under mining not planned, and that will act as a active checklist for me if I miss out on any ore. The next change is specific warning icons for litter items, so you can find your needle in a haystack easier. It's nice that litter has a label, but I still felt that it was a little hard to find that needle in a haystack. Maybe I'm missing something here. Then there's disable metadata, so you don't accidentally press the wrong button when browsing research. Chemical plants now have a working animation. And the last final 2 changes center around performance optimization. If you press Shift and F12, on the top left will be shown a frames per second updates per second meter. Normally this is not shown unless you start to have issues with FPS, EPS. The change here now is that there's a settings icon next to that meter, which reveals 2 bars. Green's for the frames per second, and the blue is for updates per second. Mousing over those bars will go over a detailed explanation of how these 2 things work together. For now, just think of it as bullet time. When the frame rate seems low and jittery, then increasing the green bar would increase the FPS, but you'll notice everything else seemingly slowed. That's the game slowing down the game time, so you'll have an easier perceived frame rate and be able to move around and stuff. Depending on your hardware and size of your base, this option can definitely be a lifesaver, but it may take getting some used to. In my own mega base, I am noticing some improvement using this option, albeit there is some noticeable tearing. In addition what happens in low FPS is that there's this annoying bounce that Icarus seems to do when jumping off to flight mode, which brings us to the final change. It seems that annoyance has been fixed. And of course, there are several bug fixes, which if you know about, well, you know. All in all, not a bad patch. Nice changes all across the board, from build systems, mechanics, to quality of life. Hope you've enjoyed the video and found yourself informed. See you next time.